So the subject of this video is sort of prompted by what I saw in another YouTuber's video. A YouTuber that goes by Aku. He makes commentary style videos, kind of like me. Um, he made a video titled "Be a Loser," which kind of the title probably strikes you as being odd or whatever, but when you get into the video, it actually makes sense. And something specific that he said in there is that, like something along the lines of like a lot of guys need to be comfortable with being a loser, or at least a loser as how it's defined in society today. You know, we have all these expectations upon us as men or whatever that, in order to be a real man, you need to do this and that. I already made a video about why being a real man is a scam, in my opinion. But basically, if you don't do any of these things, you're a loser or you're a sissy or a wimp or something, something else emasculating and not good and not attractive and not seen as favorable in the eyes of the people, whoever would be judging you in this scenario. It could be women, it could be other dudes, it could be figures of authority, whatever. It doesn't matter. It could be anyone. But there are so many little conditions to being a winner and so many conditions to being seen as successful or a real man or whatever in society today. And the thing about it is that a lot of those symptoms, a lot of those, not symptoms, a lot of those conditions required to be a winner are actually contradictory of one another. You'll often hear women these days, they'll go off about how this is an ick or that is an ick, but a lot of times the ick is completely contradictory to what another woman would say. And I'm not bashing on women. It's totally viable to, or it's totally valid for them to have icks. It's totally valid for them individually to have things that they are not attracted to or into or whatever. But that's the point here, is that, there's going to be so many icks from so many different people. No matter who you are or what you do, you're going to be a loser to somebody, especially in today's world where, as a dude, the cards are kind of stacked against you. You're expected to have this six-figure career figured out by 30, but good fucking luck with that in today's job market. I can tell you that much. You're expected to have your six-figure career figured out, but not only that, the 100K doesn't go as far as it used to back in 1975 or whatever. Back then you could buy a car for like $1,000 or whatever. And you just don't have that kind of purchasing power today with that kind of money, but they expect you to have it all made with six figures. So like the idea is that you have to make six figures, but even that benchmark is kind of like a faulty one these days because it doesn't get you what it used to get you. But that's, either way, that's what's sort of expected of you in order to have it figured out, or you at least have to be like on your way to it, or you have to have some kind of symbol of status. But these symbols of status are, the more you realize that if you have to compete in a global marketplace where you have outsourcing and automation encroaching upon most of the previously viable career paths, well, that's just not, statistically, that's not going to be possible for the majority of dudes. It's always been the case that, basically only like the top 10 to 20% of people are ever going to make it to that point. And that was even true before. But even then, if you were just middle class, if you were in the 50th percentile, you're somewhere in the middle. Back then, you could afford to, get the American dream with the white picket fence and the little suburban house and 2.5 kids, or whatever the statistic was, and a wife, of course, these things are no longer particularly viable unless you are somewhat of an outlier, to be honest with you. You have to be, statistically, you have to be doing quite well compared to the average person in order to realistically achieve all of that. And I mean, sure, you could cut corners. You could settle and just find any old person who's willing to have some kids with you. And you could live in a trailer park, and you could live off of EBT and all sorts of welfare benefits. But like, what kind of an environment is that for a kid? Do you really, is that how you want to do it? I mean, some people do, but and anyway, even if you do that way, people would call you a loser. So the point of this video is to say that I essentially agree with part of what his original point was, is that men have to be comfortable with being a loser. And I would even take it a step further than that. And this is really my point. I would take it a step further than that and say, a lot of you guys who would be listening to this, you might want to just start kind of DirtbagMaxxing. You might want to start DirtbagMaxxing and just doing whatever the fuck you want, because it's not like playing by their rules is going to get you anything good anymore anyways. So, fuck it. Go smoke your weed and play Call of Duty. Go sell drugs. Go be that 30-year-old guy who hits on college age women's. You get the point. Just go do whatever the hell. I mean, as long as you're not doing something like horribly illegal and fucked up, obviously. Go be a weed dealer. I mean, full disclaimer, I don't actually encourage anyone to deal weed or, do anything illegal. This is all for educational purposes and so forth. But, you get the point. I think people need to just start DirtbagMaxxing until the institutions get it right on their part and find out how to actually properly incentivize us to go off and become real men. Because currently the systems just do not provide the same incentives that they used to in order to keep people in line. And in my opinion, until they get their shit straight, there's really no reason for us to have our shit straight, especially if, the definition of having our shit straight involves just basically doing whatever they like us to do, doing whatever it is that benefits those in power, whether you want to call it the bourgeoisie or the ruling class or the government, whoever your boogeyman is, whatever, I don't care. It's because it's kind of funny. Like if you say, oh, the capitalist class, everyone assumes you're on one side, and if you say, oh, the government's taking all my rights away, then people assume you're more of a libertarian bent. But I'm not really trying to take sides in this particular video. It's just, you get the point. So yeah, DirtbagMaxx, tell me what you think of the concept. I think I'll probably flesh out the concept in future videos, but that's the idea. Just do whatever the hell you want at this point.